if somebody goes and throws something at me because I'm the strong one, that's okay. They're welcome to do that. How I choose and when I choose to interact with that is up to me.
Exactly.
It's a boundary. And so if you're feeling burned out because you're the strong one, two things that you need to do. Number one, you need to find somebody who's strong enough to support you. And number two, you need to have some boundaries, because it sounds to me like you're giving yourself to everybody else.
Let me tell you about a woman who don't perform for the crowd, who don't dress up her truth to make the room feel comfortable.
And welcome back to another episode of the Unbreakable Podcast. How's it going, Josie?
It's going pretty good. It's
Yeah.
a good day.
My dad was, he lived in chronic pain. He had arthritis from his feet to his jaw. Like if his hair could have had arthritis, it probably would have. And he actually was the president of the Yukon Arthritis Association for a number of years and taught pain management.
Damn.
Yeah.
That man did everything.
Yeah, he
Not just a corrections officer.
Not just a corrections officer. We don't necessarily need to uncover it right now, but I think in a couple of weeks at our next recording, we should have something really exciting to share with our listeners. And I think that, because I don't want to jinx it. I want to keep it,
Yeah.
But I'm really excited for you. And it all came out of the networking and the work that we're doing here in Unbreakable.
Yeah. And building that connection. Like a genuine connection was a huge thing. And I didn't even know I was building it. It was just, what you put out there is what you get. So
absolutely. It's a boomerang, right? And so I think that, like, when we record next, I think we're going to have some really, really neat stuff to share with our listeners.
Yeah.
I am really looking forward to sharing that.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Whether it goes one way or the other, the opportunity alone is huge for me. So
it's true, right? I mean, and we learned so much by the things that we experience and that we invest in. And if nothing else, you're now on the radar of some pretty incredible people. And I tend to think it's probably going to go one way, and I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, I think so. But I won't jinx it.
We're not going to jinx it. So one thing I do want to do is I do want to kind of do a light touch on our first Unbreakable athlete, Tristan.
Yes.
And so Tristan is our bear racer. She's been on the podcast before. So pretty excited to share that we have built a team around Tristan for her rodeo year. And again, one of the things that I want to reiterate, and I always want to reiterate, is that it is not about Unbreakable. It is not about Kait. It is not about Josie. But what it is it's about seeing this amazing human being who is out there doing these amazing things, breaking barriers and creating a name for herself. And so Tristan is one of the things we didn't actually even touch on is Tristan was diagnosed with juvenile arthritis. And so she is a barrel racer who, when I talked to her earlier or late last week, we had a conversation, a meeting, just to kind of hammer out our sponsorship and our engagement model. And I said, "How are you?" She goes, "I'm kind of sore. I got bucked off a horse twice on Monday." And I'm like, "Sis, like, you are just a glutton for punishment." So what's really cool is we have built a team around Tristan to kind of take care of all of her needs, right? And so Josie is really going to be there to support the social media and the brand, and helping Tristan really create her identity in the social world and in the rodeo world, really kind of continuing to build her up and build her out. We have a kinesiologist, actually it's Erin. She's going to be working with Tristan on recovery as well as core strength and mobility. So when she's coming into or coming out of competition, when she's in the arena, she's going to have that stronger core, keep her on the horse so she doesn't get bucked off. Just recognizing, and what's cool is she recognizes that there's some opportunities for her strength to come up. And then of course I'll be working with her on mindset, and we'll be helping her out with some financial stuff to make sure that she doesn't break the bank pulling a horse around in a trailer, and making sure she can eat properly and get really good rest cycles to recover, and make sure that everything becomes really cyclical. So our team has come full circle around her. We're really excited to jump into it. And so listeners and viewers, you're going to be able to start to see some of the content around Tristan. We are going to start doing things like vlogs and following her around. We go to competitions and, be with her when we can. But we want to share the journey of what it's like to be a female in rodeo. We want to share what it's like to be a person who is passionate about it, someone who lives with an autoimmune disease and still continues to thrive, and really just show how passionate Tristan is about her sport. But not only that, but show the side of rodeo that I think sometimes doesn't get shown.
Yeah. It's usually just the bad stuff and gets the bad rap. But there's a lot more to it.
Yeah.
There's layers.
So there's layers to everything. So we're really, really excited. And so we'll be dropping Tristan's information into the show notes. We'll be promoting her as we go, and really just looking forward to being in alignment with her and moving through and helping that unbreakable athlete be as unbreakable as she can be, because she breaks barriers every single day. Yeah.
I will drop her episode too, because you do get a little bit of her backstory, as much as we will be, doing that kind of stuff in the future and kind of showing who Tristan is. Her backstory is pretty cool. And
it really is.
Seeing her light up about talking about rodeo, it's pretty heartwarming. So
absolutely. Yeah. And tis the season. She kicks off at the end of this month. So I think she's got 2 weeks till her first competition. So we're really looking forward to being able to support her. And so stay tuned, and we'll be sharing more about Tristan coming up. Now, before we dive into our topics, we've got a couple really good ones today. I want to share something that I use with some of my clients, and I think I've touched on them before, but we've got this company called We're Not Really Strangers, and they produce a number of different card games, and their presence and thoughtfulness. And so I have 3. I don't know how many they have now, but I've got 3, and I work with these with my clients all the time. So this one is the self-love version. This one is really cool. It's the self-reflection version. I think I featured it on here before. Full disclosure, I am not affiliated with them. These are just things that resonate with me. So there is no partnership or anything like that. This is truly my endorsement of this. These people don't even know I exist. There's also one for getting to know people. And so it's actually sitting underneath my little water smell thing that my daughter got me.
Diffuser?
Yeah, that thing. Yeah. So with today's topics, I think what I wanted to do is I wanted to work on some self-reflection. And so look at how cool this is. When you buy the self-reflection bundle, it actually comes with a journal that has reflective on it as well, and then a pen as well. So there's 2. Now, this one, Josie, I love this one. I love it. And I think you're going to blow the lid off of it. So this is the first question. What have I accomplished recently that would have shocked me a year ago?
Honestly, I have 2 really big ones. Is football.
Yeah.
I was told I stopped playing in 2015 because I had to move, for one, and I got told a lot that football is not for women. So why the hell am I playing it?
Weird.
This is my second year. I had 2, not just 1, but 2 knee reconstruction surgeries. And I was 6 weeks post-op, and I went back to football. I had a killer season last year. This year, I mean, we haven't won any games yet, but I am still playing on a whole different level than what I was in 2015 and what I was last year. So that is a really big one. June 18th is my 6 years in recovery.
Fantastic.
And the last year has done everything to break me out of that, to ruin my recovery journey, test me in so many different ways. But I got through that, and I was like, holy shit, I really didn't think a year ago that I would make it to the 6th year. I thought this is going to be it. This is where I ruined my recovery journey. And here I am, like, oh, June 18th actually is, a month from today.
A month from today.
Recording. And that just blows my mind. It blows my mind that I'm still getting in on a football field. I just spent 8 hours for Team Alberta, not just a city team. I am trying out for a provincial team. So these things I didn't think were going to happen a year ago. And yeah, it's just been nonstop. More surprises than not, and good surprises. So
How
yeah,
amazing.
those are my two big ones.
Your two big ones. That's, I mean, I
Yeah.
think that's so powerful. Like, and this is one of the activities that's actually in the book in pathway number 5, which is the reflection, is actually being able to look back where you were to where you are to where you're going. And, I won't give it away, but if you, you know, pick up a copy of the book and have a look at that, it's an exercise of drawing. And what it does is it enables you to really just sit and acknowledge where you've come from. Because I think it's so easy for us in the day-to-day rat race of trying to always meet everybody else's needs and live the agenda and live the schedule and do the things and check the boxes and please the people and do all the stuff, that sometimes I don't think we sit and we hit that pause button and go, wow, I actually have done quite a bit for myself and others, right? So I think that's awesome.
I actually have done that exercise.
Have you?
And that's why I think I'm able to talk. When you ask that question, it's like, but I did that pathway. I mean, I've went through the book, 18 different times, but
yeah,
not until recently have I sat down and actually did the work. I was
yeah,
like, I can endorse this on a different level because I have done this. Like what Unbreakable has done for me on the outside of, being able to explore my creativity and all that fun techie stuff. It actually has changed my life for the better because I've been able to self-reflect and get out of the patterns of, I've had, kind of a shitty upbringing or crappy things have happened to me. So therefore the rest of my life is going to be crappy. It really taught me to be like, okay, you know what? Those were just foundation, but I get to build what goes on top of that.
absolutely.
Or the whole garden thing. I get to pick what I weed out of it and what I plant in there. So it's not just me working on the technical side and the creativity side. I actually do the work that's in the book and it works. It's not
That's amazing.
just, fluffy duffy BS that you put out there, but I think you got something going on in here. You know what you're talking about? Weird.
Weird. I kind of do. It's a thing. Bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very similar. So thank you for that. I really do appreciate that. And it makes me happy that you're taking more from it than just, obviously like a paycheck and, doing the things, right? I mean, like that's not what it's about. I mean, those are nice to have, but like the really nice pieces of it are that you're able to actually lift and shift some of that into your life. And I think that is the part of it that, I know, and I was reluctant to actually acknowledge this, but people will buy the book, they'll read the book, they'll ingest it. I've had people tell me that they're going to read it more than once, which I love. And I think that's a really important aspect because we're never the same person the second time we read a book.
Yeah.
Right. Especially a book like
many
this
books
one.
that I have on a yearly reread list.
Yeah, me too. And, I think the next piece of that is, actually taking it and applying it. And that's why the first threads are something that's just so powerful. And what I've actually found, and it's very interesting to me, is that, people are more interested in the stories than they are in actually doing the work. And in a lot of cases, not everybody, some people have really taken that to heart and they're applying those things. People love the concept, but I think that change has to be something that you're truly seeking. And
yes.
My sincere hope is that people don't just completely write this is the work off, that 6th section of the book, because I think it is a really important aspect of how you actually take what is written and apply it, right? And
yeah.
And so, it's interesting because that's one of the things that I do when I do executive education. I try to do executive education as often as I can because, things change. We learn new elements of psychology. We learn new elements of leadership. And it's not enough to suggest that just because I did, my compressed MBA, I now know it all. That's not true.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I'm a lifelong learner. And I know, like, when I was during COVID, I did two really unique things. The first one was I went to Yale and I did some leadership work at the Yale School of Management. I got a 4.0, right? And it's not a humble brag. That's just me being like, toot, toot. That's a good thing. That's a really good thing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not arrogance. That's me loving myself and acknowledging the fact that I am a smart lady. And I like that. But the secondary thing that I did was I became a paid psychic. I actually, got onto California Psychics, did a couple of interviews, which were readings over the phone, and was able to become a paid psychic. What's interesting about that was I logged in on my first shift, and the first person I spoke to might as well have been my mother.
Right.
It was crazy, crazy. She had a lot of similar parallels in terms of like the things that she was experiencing with her kids, and they didn't want to talk to her and they didn't want to be around her. And she was taking no accountability for that. And so I, of course, am very conscientious of the fact that she's paying how many dollars a minute to sit and have this conversation. But she keeps asking me questions. And I keep giving her answers, and she keeps seeing these, like I'm hearing these light bulbs go on over the phone. And of course, what's really interesting, and for the safety of both the psychic and the person, they don't know your name, right? So you have your own name. My name was Axley on the old psychic hotline, and so she stayed on the phone with me for like almost 70 minutes, paying like, I don't even know how much a minute. And I mean, I wasn't doing it for the fact that I was going to get paid. I was doing it for the fact that it was a really, really good conversation. And I was literally directing this woman. It was not me being a psychic. It was me providing her the basic elements of what is now unbreakable.
Exactly.
And I was doing it from a daughter's perspective who had a mother like this woman. And so by the time we got off the call, I was like, that was crazy. It was life coaching. It was direction giving. It was therapeutic for her. It was not me being a psychic. And then I had a couple of other calls that day. And they were really bizarre. And I was just like, people really just wanted to hear what they wanted to hear. They didn't want you to tell them anything other than that. And then all of a sudden I see that there's like this chat, and I was like, this is weird. So I opened this chat function, and it's a little girl, and she's maybe, I don't know what homecoming age is in the United States because we don't have that here, but she was really upset because a boy that she really liked asked a girl to homecoming. And so she was like, I just need to know if by September he's going to want to be, my boyfriend again, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I can't. So I was like, messaging her back, and I was like, well, it's this, 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 and this. And, I basically parented her over this chat for 15 minutes, and then I logged off, and I never logged on again because it felt so scummy. Because I could have probably kept adding value to these people, but it felt so wrong. I felt like, because they just wanted you to tell them what they wanted to hear, and you wanted to give them what I would classify as false hope, as opposed to just giving them the reality of the situation. And it didn't align with my value system. But, so anyways, that all aside, it was, that lifelong learning and the desire to constantly pull something new in. When I was going to school, the way that I make the value hit, because I'm paying for this, right, is I actually take the learnings of a class from a Tuesday and I apply something that resonated with me on the Wednesday. And that was where I got the basis to add first threads in terms of how does somebody take this information that I've just shared through a story? How did I get there? Or what was the science? And how do you take it and apply it, right? And just take one thing. Take one thing. I say that I say that in my workshops. I give you a lot of information. But what are you taking and applying? You can't apply it all. Not all of it's going to resonate.
That's why there's 4 different pages when we put it on social media. You don't have to do them all. You can click, save one, do it for the week, wait till next Friday for the new ones.
Bingo. But the thing is
tons in the books too. So
and they stack, right? And the other thing is too, and I promise people I am working on the audiobook. I hit a wall, and then I hit the pause button, and then I got a cold, and like nobody wants to hear that shit. So what have I accomplished this year that would have shocked me? Guys, I wrote a book, and I published a book. And I'm
You
promoting
did.
a book. I mean, it was like a prep project. I'm going to keep myself busy. And now I have like a life plan rolling out of this. And,
Mhm.
you know, I shocked. I don't know if I'd say I'm shocked. But perhaps, right? Because I think our partnership, the way that we've worked together to get it over the finish line and to have somebody who is so invested in the brand and in the success of it, I think is a really big component of that. I don't think that I could have, no, I don't think I would have done it on my own the way that we've done it together as a partnership. And so that's my thing. That's my thing is, you know, I've gone through and I've done something that it's really big. And I mean, for some people, they might not think it's big, and that's okay. But it's
But it's not just a book anymore.
no, no,
And
it's
the first couple months into it, it was never just a book.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
And I think the thing is too, is that I think there was some doubt from people that we were creating a movement, that we were
Hmm.
doing something that was going to be bigger than just something that you pick up and read.
Hmm.
And all I have to say is, haven't you met me?
Yeah.
Like I'm not a 25 or 50 percenter.
No, yeah, 110%.
Yeah, I kind of get shit done, right? And so, you know, I think, but those are the kinds of things. Like I remember our first rejection. Remember our first rejection? How brutal it was. Like
We have excellent TikTok videos on
we do.
said rejection.
The rejection was just so asinine. It was like this guy. He was like the vice president of publishing for this publishing house, and instead of just saying no, you know, you're not
Not
popular
a
enough.
thing.
Like it was like a 6-page like on my phone email, and it was like immediate. The day we submitted it, he reviewed it and he was like, why did you even come here? You're so useless. Nobody
Yeah.
likes you. You don't have 60,000 followers. Oh, and by the way, most books only sell about 300 copies.
Yeah.
So
Which we're past that, I'm pretty sure, or at
I
least
think we
getting
are.
very close to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we had 300 people on our wait list.
Yeah.
Right. And so, I mean, between waitlist, between people buying it, people wanting to give it to their kids, their friends, we have people who are trainers who are asking for us to help them purchase in bulk so they can give it to their new clients.
Hmm.
You know, we have people who are interested in buying bulk to have workshops. And I just like, I've got to finish a proposal today for a keynote. Somebody's come to us for a keynote. And so we're going to be handing that out to a group of people. It'll be a digital keynote, but they're all going to receive a copy of the book. And so it's just like, okay, you know, I just, that's fine. I don't need somebody else to believe in me because you know what? I believe in myself.
Exactly.
Right. And the self-discovery that comes through actually writing a book and being as vulnerable, like, you know, I can't imagine, like, I can't tell you how much I wanted to barf when we've put the final edits and like we actually hit publish and then we
Hmm.
posted that it was live and people could get it. Like I had a person who is actually in the book who read the book within 3.5 hours, like somebody who was talked about in the book. And then I had another person who read the book in about 2 days, and she was also in the book. And, you know, so I mean, like when people are seeing the reflections of themselves in it, I mean, like that's really scary. And, you know, I looked at it like this. I wasn't bombastic with it. I didn't embellish the stories. I didn't lie about anything. What I did was I told my story from my perspective. And if you read something in the book and it makes you feel some kind of way,
You
because
need to look in.
I acknowledged something that you did that made me feel something or a lesson that I took away from it, kind of sounds like it's an issue, not an ish me. Right.
Exactly.
And it's one of those things. And I had to really like reconcile that. And I had to say to myself, it is okay for you to tell your story. What I was very careful about was I was not telling other people's stories. This
Yes.
was my experience, how I perceived the situation. And if I perceived it in a way that you didn't intend, that again might be something you need to think about. How do you treat other people?
Exactly. I have learned how puke worthy being vulnerable is in the last
Yes.
week. Because for the first time in my whole life, again, we won't give too much detail until after tomorrow, telling my backstory, the nitty gritty backstory. I have never been asked in a potential job interview to be like, we want to know the messed up things that happened to you and how you got through that and why you're where you are right now. I'm like, are you sure? Is this a trap? This sounds like a trap to me.
Are you going to put this on the internet?
Yeah, it sounds like a trap. And then I sent my story and I got nothing but praise back and a million thank yous in one email. Like they said thank you 5 times in one email.
Oh my God. It was like literally like, okay, so I mean, I read it beforehand because you were kind of shitting your pants. And so I was like, change nothing, ? But like, I noticed that it was like, thank you for submitting and thank you for telling us this and thank you that and thank you. And thanks. Have a great weekend. Like, I think it was overwhelming to them, the clarity that you were able to share. But I think that it really gave them insight into who you are as a person. But I think one of the things that they were looking for, and you did it very, very well, was you were able to articulate those elements and you were able to articulate them with self-love. You did not depreciate yourself. You did not explain yourself. You acknowledged the things that were and you acknowledged the things that are. That is powerful. You didn't make excuses for yourself. You didn't like meander down like, the rat holes of, well, but yeah, but the signal that sends to somebody who's healed is it's them saying the healed person in me acknowledges the healed person in you. And the other part is they also recognize that, I believe they recognize that this is always a journey. And, yeah, I'm really excited for you. I can't wait to see what comes out of that.
Me too.
Yeah.
We'll have a whole podcast episode.
My Lanta, we're going to have. Yes, we will. Okay. So, this is a tough one. You're not going to get a lot of time to think about this one. What are 3 things? Okay, listeners, viewers, I want you to do this with us. What are 3 things I love most about myself today? And go.
My empathy, number 1.
Yep.
My resilience.
Yeah.
Yes. And my strength.
Yeah.
Because I do believe they're different things. So
they are.
Yeah. That was hard.
Yeah.
Those like spitfire moments. I just go
totally
with the top 3 that come out. But
absolutely. Yeah.
Empathy, resilience, strength.
Empathy, resilience, strength. Absolutely. I love it. Mine is, if I have to be quick about it, it truly is my resilience. I am super grateful for my ability to bounce back, to digest things, and to articulate my needs. And sometimes when I articulate my needs, she's messy, but she's there. My self-confidence. I think that, as I've continued to grow and mature, particularly in my role, identifying and understanding new ways to fit into this world, meeting new people, networking, seeing the potential of other things. I love that about myself, my self-confidence. And it's not arrogance. Some people could look at it as arrogance, but you know what? When you love yourself, guys, it's a hell of a drug. You just don't give a shit what anybody else thinks. And it's not my concern what other people think of me, kind of like what the back of my head looks like. None of my concern.
Yeah.
I spend way too much time trying to straighten that part of it's fine. It's very puffy, big ponytail. And you know what? I'm going to say the third thing I love about myself is my strength, both my mental, but my physical strength. Man, I am so strong right now and I am loving my off season. I had a couple tough weeks where, we were trying to make the needle move one way or another and it was just not going. And I was pretty aggravated and frustrated. And so we've made some changes and I'm seeing the movement that I want to see, but not at the cost of being strong as hell. I'm talking like, what was it? One of my leg presses, a couple of like last leg day was 16 plates plus 50 pounds. So basically 17 plates for 16 reps. So what
baby weight.
Like baby weight. I mean, like what I'm saying is if you are ever stuck under a small vehicle, I could lay down beside the vehicle, comfort you with my loving narrative, and then I could push the car and rescue you. And so, yes.
Call Kait. Get stuck?
Just call me. Just give me a call.
Call Kait.
Need something moved? Call Kait. I can move things really heavy with my legs. So, but for real, don't call me to move your shit. I'm not interested.
Yeah.
That's
That's
like,
usually a me thing. Everyone calls
that,
me.
that's
I
a
have a
Josie thing.
truck.
She's truck. I was
Yeah.
so funny. Okay. So, yeah, again, not affiliated with these guys, but love the product. I think that self-reflection is great. I've been working with those with some clients over the past couple of weeks, and they've been really powerful in helping people identify the goodness, because when we focus on the goodness, guess what? We get more of the goodness. So,
Exactly.
all right. I've got some questions here, and let me just pick the one that I think is a good one here. It's great. We've got lots of people who are reaching out, who are sharing about reading the book and doing all those different things. I love that.
The reviews are, God, I don't know how you can read them and not like bawl. Because there's
I
some
no,
that you send me and I'm just like, oh,
yeah,
I didn't
I
even
do
write the
cry.
book, and that's hard hitting.
I do cry. I do. I will say that, I read every comment. I read every, and just so you know, if you comment on anything, Josie might react to it, but it's me who's commenting back. It's not Josie.
Yeah.
So if I respond, there's that. People are commenting and leaving information in our direct messages on the book, but people are also coming to me personally. And I have to say that just hearing your stories and connecting with you as readers has just been such a joy. And I know that we're all at different stages of our journeys and kind of going through either healing or identifying or building up or moving forward. Like, it's just keep going. Just keep going. As Dory would say, just keep swimming.
Just
Or
keep
who said that?
swimming. That was Dory. Yeah.
That was a Dory?
I'll give you a point for that one.
Yay. So funny. Okay, so let me see here. Oh, we've touched on one like that. Well, this is a really good one. Okay, so this is a really good one. I feel like I'm always having to tone myself down to make other people comfortable. How do I stop doing that without blunting what I want to provide to the world? Okay. So I guess the
Don't
theme
dim your
is,
light.
yeah,
Yeah.
doesn't matter
Dimming your
if
light.
you're making people uncomfortable with your presence, you're probably in the wrong room.
Yeah. And with the wrong people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my most despised phrases is like, because I'm a really animated and emotional person. And so I'm out there, right? When somebody looks at me and they say, "Oh, tell me how you really feel," I want to throat punch them. I want to throat punch, because it's just such an arrogant and ignorant thing to say to somebody. Like, it's like, why can't we just acknowledge that some people are really enthusiastic in this world? And I mean, like, okay, I get it. There's like bombastic, you're a lot. And if that's the case, read the room. Read the room.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
Like,
different.
not everybody wants, a Tasmanian devil in the meeting. Yeah. So just read the room. But I think the other thing is just if you're in a room and they just really are always trying to tone you down or get you to dim your light, then I really think that you need to find a new room that needs to be lit up.
Yeah. Good examples of that are talking about something you're passionate about and you get that reaction, or how'd you learn that, Google? Like, you know what? Sometimes it's just life that has taught me these things. Let me talk about it. I am passionate about talking about my life experiences. You don't get to tell me whether or not you want to hear it. If you don't want to hear it, get the hell out of my room.
Absolutely. Well, and it's interesting because it makes me think of a couple of different times where, like, if you come to one of my workshops, it is not a workshop. It is an experience, right? And there is an element of, I don't want you to forget what you've learned from being in this room. I want you to walk out of this room. And frankly, I want you to remember my name. And the reason I want you to remember my name is because I made you uncomfortable. I made you want to look inside of yourself, or I made you look at that and go, I didn't like looking at that. And that also is an indicator that there's something more there. And, two examples. So I spoke at a conference. I did an executive luncheon in Asia last year. And, people were telling me, over and over and over again, you have to be calmer. You can't be as big. Keep your elbows by your side. They don't prefer to have, whatever. And I was like, that seems so weird to go and present at a conference and be the person. And you're like, okay, well, let me just conform to every part of this and over here. And so I observed while I was in region and I interacted with people. And what I found was that my interactions were very, very long lasting, because in that particular culture, there is a subculture. And the subculture is, I'm going to present what society tells me I should present. And then I'm going to be my real self behind closed doors. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm a really authentic person. So who you get, like the vectors of who I am as a person don't change. How I might show up in different rooms might look a little different based off of the audience. I mean, how I behave in a personal workshop when I'm with people that are paying me to be there for, individuals is going to be different than what I present in a boardroom, because in the boardroom, I've probably been given a mandate to achieve. So you get that variability between those two. When it's a public forum,
still there.
Bingo. So for example, in a private one, when I have all adults in the room, I may use a curse word. Over here, I wouldn't do that, right? So it's like, that's what I mean, but you're still going to get that same experience. And so, I'm at this conference and I had put together this really cool concept of, having a little bit of a lecture, giving them some information. We had, PowerPoint slides, as we're apt to do in consulting. And then I had a leadership toolkit that they could scan and actually have on their phones that had much more information in it. But then what I did was I actually did something called a World Cafe. And so I had come up with some questions that were culturally appropriate, but challenging some of the norms that we're seeing in the workforce, particularly around, retention of employees, attraction of new employees, how we build resilience into our operating areas, right? And so I had these papers up on the wall with the questions written on them. And so I do my presentation and, they're all nibbling and having lunch and doing whatever. And the pictures were terrible because I was just so big, because before we went in, I looked at the partner I was traveling with, and at this point, I had been in region for about 5 days. And what I had realized was everything that everyone had told me in terms of toning it down and calming down and not being myself was wrong. The people were hungry for authenticity. Everybody I interacted with, from wait staff to stores to hairdressers to, people at the conference, even that morning. And so I looked at the one partner that I was traveling with and I said to him, I'm just going to be myself. Is that okay? And he looked at me and he goes, in his Texas drawl, he goes, yeah, that's kind of the point. And I was like, excellent. And so when these people came in, I was just delighted to see them. I was interactive. They gave me a podium and a microphone, and I was like, I never use a podium. When I speak, never. I know you, I guess you do. You see that all the time.
I'm like, Kate, just, there she goes.
Can I please have a mic?
I might lean on the podium.
I do actually lean on the podium, but I never use the podium. You're right. I forgot that you've come to a couple of my events. But so I never use a podium because I feel like it's a blocker between you and your participants. And so sometimes I walk and I weave between, and I engage and I touch people on the shoulder if they're open to, you can tell, right? And so I come away from this experience, right? And this like group of people comes to find me in the exhibition hall. Like I'm about to do an interview, a post discussion interview with the promoters. And I've got like the little microphone on and I'm standing there in front of the camera, like kind of crapping my pants because I'm like, I had a script, but I wasn't able, like they had no prompt or anything like that. And I was like, I did not memorize this stuff, right? Because why would I? And so this is why when people are like, I can't wait to see you do your TED Talk, I'm like, oh, I will never do a TED Talk because you have to memorize everything before you go up there. Yeah, that's not my style. And so this group of people comes and they find me and they completely derail the entire schedule of the conference people because I'm taking the time. Hey, I'm the talent there, right? And I'm not trying to be rude, but I just said to them, please give me a few minutes. I need to engage with these people. And they were like, of course. And so we were talking and they said never in their lives have they gone to a conference and been a part of the conversation. because people are so used to being talked to and educated. And I insisted that these people get up and walk around the room and have conversations with each other and network and talk about the different questions and then present it back to the group. And they were all like, this is crazy. We love this, but this is crazy. And so for me, that ability to be in a room and be passionate about something that you love and to inspire other people to think differently, to embrace new concepts, to improve their livelihoods, whatever that is. I mean, why wouldn't you want to do that? Why wouldn't you want to be that light in that room? And I often ask leaders, when you walk into the room, do people stop talking? Because if they do, you might be a problem. And, you know, it really comes down to, are you bringing the light or are you bringing the darkness? And a lot of people bring this either without realizing it or they do it intentionally for a power and control thing. I am over here because I just want to inspire people to want to be who they are, to bring that to the table. And so my feedback for this question, my final thought is continue to be the light. And if you feel like you have to shrink, you are not with your people. Or maybe you need to learn some tact and diplomacy, right? So read the room and understand. I mean, what was it? We started recording. So we record like, I call it brain cleanse television, which is like Family Feud or like The Price is Right tonight. Yes. So the new one, we've got a Canadian Price is Right now, and it's Howie Mandel.
Yes.
And we were watching it last night, and literally this girl gets on stage and she's like, "Oh, I'm so excited to be here." And Howie Mandel's like, "Oh, tell me about blah, 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 blah. What makes you really excited to be here?" She's like, "Well, I've had a really terrible year. Like my cat died. My roommates just kicked me out of my," like she trauma dumps on him. And we're like, what is going on? Like, not the right time. You're on a game show, right? And she's like, my life goal is to get a Dyson vacuum cleaner and get a house to live in. So hopefully I can get some cash. And of course she does not get cash, but at the end of the show, she goes and loses the showcase showdown, or like it loses the wheel spin. She was like off the charts. And he goes, "But wait, because it's our first season, we have a gift for you." And they bring her out a Dyson vacuum cleaner. Canada for the win. And so Aaron's
sorry,
like,
you lost. Here's a Dyson.
Yeah, because and so Aaron and I are sitting there and Aaron goes, "Aw, she had such a rough start to her year. I hope that vacuum cleaner was what helped her change things around in her year." And I'm like, forever optimistic, aren't we, darling?
Yeah. But that's Aaron.
Yeah. So
she's like, "Oh, the world's falling apart, but look at this Dyson vacuum.
Yes.
It'll fix everything."
Absolutely. And Aaron goes, "Yeah, but she's homeless. Like she's sleeping on somebody's couch." She's like, "She doesn't have a house to vacuum." I'm like, "Yeah, maybe since recording though."
Streets.
So, but fun fact, and before we kind of move away from this question, I want to show you something. I was on The Price is Right.
Oh my gosh. Amazing.
Isn't that awesome? It was awesome. We were very, very careful not to, like the way that they choose you for production is they actually line you up like 20 at a time. And whoever acts like the biggest asshole are the people that they pick. And, 100%, like they pick you in advance. And so we were up there and we were like, you're basically standing behind like a giant sawhorse. And the producers come and they ask you questions. And I was just said to Aaron, I was like, don't be weird. And of course she's not. Like she's the least weird person ever. She's an introvert. But like they come up and like people just act like such freaks and assholes to try and get attention, and the shit that they wear is just bizarre. And so we were like literally just like, nope, we were so normal and we were just like do 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 do. And so we get into the studio, and the studio is like super, super small compared to what you would think it is. They only can fit about, I would say there's maybe 150 to 200 people in there. I could be wrong, but that's what it felt like. And we had actually sat with this retired firefighter from Temecula, California, and his mom, who was like 900, and his stepdad. So they were all there. And so we spent like the day with them and just kind of waited. And then once they took us in, they take your phone and they put it in like a coat check. and they give you the little chit. So you don't have a phone, you don't have anything. You walk in there and you've been sitting in a holding pen waiting, and you get in and they tell you where you're going to sit. And so the two of us are sitting there. We were in the third row from like the stage. We were so close. And Drew Carey came out. He was so creepy. I did not like his energy.
Heard that, actually.
He leered at me like to the point where I put my hoodie back on. I was just like, and like it was just like I was very uncomfortable, and so I was like, okay. And so they're like, they have this guy who comes out to do the pump up, right? Like all the studios down there have this to get the audience warmed up and whatever. So they have a DJ. He's playing every song he could possibly play about marijuana. Weird, not what I would have expected from The Price Is Right.
I mean, you are in California.
Yeah, like, and then I got high. Like, so that he played that song like 4 times, and I was like, this is really weird. There's a lot of old people in the audience. Like, okay. So there was that. And then like they have their, so the pump up guy looks like he just rolled out of bed, like total incel kind of looking guy, really like big, giant, gross, greasy, big curls on him. And he's just kind of disheveled and unkempt. And I was like, oh, okay. So this like experience for me, I was like, this is really not what I would expect it to be. And then they tell you, be loud, be bombastic, be crazy out in the audience, because if you do that, they're going to call you up to be on it. And then a guy walks out with a bunch of names on cue cards. And I'm like, is nobody else connecting these dots, or is it just me? Because like they've already pre-selected, and that's what so I'm already connecting the dots. All of the people around us are just like, they're like crazy, right? And so I was like, no, we're just like, we're being demure, we're being very Canadian, we're like, yay, we're at The Price Is Right, you know, doing what we should do. But then they call up the woman directly next to me, and I turned into a Muppet. I was like, go, this is so good. I was just like, oh my God, I'm so glad nobody recorded it, because I was like, yes, like it was so bad. But I was just like, okay, let's get out of here. So that was my experience. I went to The Price Is Right. That's me with
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was wild.
I had a couple family members actually that, surprisingly, I got I think 3 or 4 years ago. It was shot in New Brunswick.
Oh,
so all my little small towner family was like, we're going to the fucking Price Is Right. We're gonna be on TV. I'm like, okay, I don't want to. I lived in Vancouver. I've been to some movie studios. I know how gross and like cramped and all that fun stuff it is. I'm like, you guys have fun, because my nan watches, Price Is Right every night. She's got the Game Show Network. So yeah, it is a definitely big experience on that one.
Yeah,
but
we did.
It did get shot in my little small, tiny little province at one point.
That's wild. Yeah, that's like there was a girl that I knew who was from the Yukon who was on Family Feud Canada, and I saw it on her Facebook. But it's like, that would stress me out. I wouldn't want to do that one.
Yeah, I think that one would be stressful. As much as I yell at the TV and get all the right answers sometimes.
Yes.
I don't know if I could do it in the moment, though. I'd probably blank, be like, I don't know. I know this is being recorded.
Like,
oh.
Yeah. No. Okay. The next one is a gooder. This is a gooder. All right. I can relate to this one. Everyone comes to me for support, advice, or stability, but I don't really know where I should go when I need support, because I'm the strong one.
Yeah. I don't know what to say to this one, because I struggle with that. I'm very good at supporting other people and, being the stable, go ahead, cry on my shoulder. I'll help you pick your pieces back up, and
I'll help you move on a Sunday.
You say that, and I had to emergency help move one of my friends. Not even 2 weeks ago, on a dime. It was just.
Yep. What are you doing? Well, I got my pajamas on. All right, let's go.
I'm like, I'm good. I will get the truck. I will get the straps, and I moved her all in one day. And she's like, I would have never done that without you. Like, I'd still be moving 3 days later, or packing even. And I'm like, no, I get in there, get it done. We out. I will Tetris this all into the truck. I have moved across Canada twice with this truck. I know how to get it in there in one trip. But when it comes to myself, I'm like,
Yeah.
eh.
But you can feel it. But you can feel it when
Yes.
it's coming, right?
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's the thing is like the first piece is recognizing that you're starting to feel that burden, right?
Yeah.
And it's not to suggest that the people around you are a burden or that work is a burden. It's just to suggest that you're feeling that weight on your shoulders. And I too, I do, this happens to me. I would actually say that this probably happens to me. It creeps in. I'm going to say probably once a month.
Yeah.
Right.
Same.
And it is an ongoing element to just my existence. And so two things, right? The first one is I choose where I place my time. And so in a lot of instances, what happens is I'm almost choosing to be the person that is reliable, that is credible, that is emotionally connected to people. So in our last episode, we talked about trust. And that reliability can sometimes be grossly overwhelming.
Yes.
Because sometimes you're just giving and giving and giving and giving. And I do talk about that quite a bit in the book, and it's the grief of growth and the burden of showing up for other people, but not showing up for yourself. And I think, that's a really important component.
You can't pour from an
empty cup. That's correct. And so there's that, right? And I do, honestly. I feel like my purpose in life is to support and navigate hard things with people. That's literally why I'm here. I get it. The second thing is make some boundaries.
Yes.
Because when you have
my biggest thing.
That's the thing, right? When you have no boundaries and you're just constantly giving to people and you're not ever taking time for yourself, you're not ever having the downtime, you're not ever having the quiet time, when you're allowing this to dictate what you do and how much you have to respond, I tell people when they're new clients or when they're new friends or whatever, I will respond to you when I can be fully present with you. And you know what? That might be 4 days.
Yeah, I tell most of my friends that I have a 5 to 7 business day response, unless I feel like I can be fully present.
But that's and there, like the thing that comes with that is that being able to be present with somebody is respectful to that person. But it also allows you to not be thinking about other things while you're being present with that person. And it also means that you're not stretching yourself so thin that you can't deliver. And, so again, we go back to our trust equation. How credible and reliable are you to maintain that emotional connection, to continue to show up for people? This kind of leads me to the next suggestion is to find that person, right? That can support you. And this has been a very big challenge for me pretty much my entire life for two reasons. Number one, it takes me a very long time to trust people, a very long time. Like there's a very big difference between I interact with you and I share time with you and I share stories with you. But when I trust somebody, that means that I trust you're going to show up when I can't. You're going to be there when I have a hard day. That means that I believe that you can handle the same workload or the same mental workload that I can. And not everybody can, right? When I look at some of the things that I deal with on a week to week basis, whether it's through the book, whether it's through promotion, whether it's through my sport, whether it's through my business, and my role as an executive, there are some people who simply cannot dip their toe in the level of complexity of some of the things that I deal with. And that's not to be disrespectful to them, but when I need support, I don't need surface level, shallow support.
Yeah.
I need depth and I need somebody who can handle all of the emotion that comes with that. And there are very, very few people that in my social circle who I trust that level with. And that's not to suggest that if you're in my social circle, I don't trust you. That's not it at all.
No.
I'm not going to burden you with something that becomes your burden. If that makes sense,
There's levels, I think, to that. And just because you don't go to one person for certain things doesn't mean you respect them any less, or they're not,
No.
it's not a tier thing. And I think that's what a lot of people put themselves as when we do say things like this. It's like, I have my best friend and I can literally go to her to just about anything. And then even you as an example, when it comes to working and dealing with some, childhood trauma or things that come up in that aspect, I have you. And of course, I have a very supportive partner, but I know where I can go for what part I am dealing with.
That's it,
But
right?
you guys are all on that tier. It's not you're here and my best friend's here or Brittany's up here. Like it's the same line. It's just I think a lot of people, their automatic reaction is like, well, why didn't you come to me?
And it's
Am I lower on your tier? I'm like, no, not at all.
It's just
I trust you. You're in my circle. I love you just as much. It's just I have my places I can go for my certain things.
Well,
and I know the people I can go to for that.
Bingo. And it's because I think a diamond is made from pressure, right? We can all agree on that. But when you look at a diamond, how many faces does that beautiful diamond have? And I use this as an example with people all the time, is that we have different faces, which means that we have different needs, which means there are different people who can fulfill those different faces. And it's not to suggest that that face shines any less because you're not, you know what I mean? And so it's it's making sure that the right person is there and that your support system, right? It's rarely just one person that can provide everything to you. And so that mosaic of humans that supports you, if you're not able to find what you need in that mosaic of humans, it means that you're actually moving to a new peak. And it might be that you have to start looking for somebody who can be that mentor for you. And, it's the same kind of thing in terms of being mentored at work. You're not going to go, for example, if you're a manager and go and find somebody who's an individual contributor, unless you're looking for a very specific skill set from that individual contributor, right?
Exactly.
And, it's, this is very, very difficult because it also comes down to a simple thought that I have often. I never want to be the smartest person in a room.
Yeah. I want to learn from the smartest person in the room.
Right? And so it's the same thing when you think about your support system and your support model. It's to say, I have somebody in my corner who's going to listen to me, who understands the complexity of maybe it's childhood, maybe it's, the way that you've come up on your career, maybe it's where you're going next on your career. I work with a number of young people who are like younger, or like kind of the younger millennials and the Gen Zs. Like they are just hungry to achieve in life right now, like starving to achieve.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love it. And so does that mean that I'm spending all my time with them? Absolutely not. But what it does mean is that when I can be present with those people, I give them my time. I give them an hour. We have conversations, we text. But here's the thing. Each one of these individuals understands I am not dropping everything to acknowledge this. I can't tell you, let me see here. I woke up this morning and let's see, I have 35 messages in WhatsApp there. I have 4 there, 1 there, 1 there. So 35, 40. I have 42 messages sitting in WhatsApp unread right now. I have 7 unread text messages and 40 unread emails.
Yeah, sounds right.
Do I find that anxiety provoking? No. You know why? Because I do things on my time. I choose, right? And so if somebody goes and throws something at me because I'm the strong one, that's okay. They're welcome to do that. How I choose and when I choose to interact with that is up to me.
Exactly.
It's a boundary. And so if you're feeling burned out because you're the strong one, 2 things that you need to do. Number 1, you need to find somebody who's strong enough to support you. And number 2, you need to have some boundaries, because it sounds to me like you're giving yourself to everybody else. And that is, unless you're a Mother Teresa or Pope Leo, that is not why you are here.
Exactly.
Okay, this is a really long... No means no. I know that we have a problem with that in our society, but man, Okay, I'm going to save a couple of these other questions because I think they'll get too deep. So what we're going to do is we're going to probably tap the brakes here and call it a day. This is an action-packed episode. You know, what's funny is like we get to this part of an episode and I'm like, I don't even know what we started talking about. It's
Yeah,
like,
no idea. Once I go back and, do the editing and stuff, I'm like, oh shit, yeah, we did talk about that on this one.
oh, weird.
Yeah.
Weird. Yeah.
We
So
just got so much in here.
we got so much in
to talk
here.
about.
Well, and I think what's really great is that like my travel schedule's kind of calmed down. We've got some really great guests coming up. So we published Earl
Yes.
2 weeks ago now. And so maybe even 3 weeks ago at this point by the time this airs, but got some really phenomenal feedback from his story. And we love Earl. We love having him on. We're going to have him back again eventually here. We have a couple of really great people. We got Denise booked, who Denise is out of Saskatchewan. We've got a new fella named Dan Veroni coming up, and Dan is one heck of a guy. He's got a couple of books out there. Now, what's really cool about Dan, and we haven't recorded with him yet, but I recorded with him a couple of times in my previous podcast. He is brilliant, and he is someone who actually changed the course of my life based off of a podcast we did, our first one. So he wrote this book, and his agent manager kind of came to me and said, hey, it would be great if we could have Dan on your podcast. And I said, of course. We had him on the podcast. We were talking about it. He talks about supply chain, trade associations. He talks about small business. He's very, very, very passionate about the empowerment of small business and trade associations. And that's what makes him great. But what's really awesome is that Dan has been married to his partner, who he refers to as his princess, for like 45 years, maybe. They've got a handful of kids, some grandkids, a couple grand dogs. And he's just, when you meet him, his energy is pure. That's the only way I can describe it. And he's from Virginia. So he's just a wonderful human. So we finished recording, and my producer at the time got off the call, and we were talking, and he said to me, he goes, can I say something? And I was like, of course. And he goes, you're not living up to your full potential. What you're doing right now, he goes, it's good. He goes, but there's much more. And he goes, so the next time we talk, I want to hear what you're going to be doing different to actually maximize on your potential, because this is not what you're meant to do.
I like this guy already, and I haven't even virtually met him.
And he is an amazing, amazing human being. And so I took that as my father giving me a nudge through Dan. And I went and I got a mini MBA, just a compressed one, guys. I'm not an MBA guy. I would rather cut my own throat, poke my eyes with hot pins than sit through an MBA. But I did that, and I went out and I started opening and broadening my network. So Dan was one of those diamonds in the rough that I didn't see coming. And it's cute because I think he's probably thinking he's going to come on and talk about his subject matter expertise, but we're really going to prime the pump and bring in some fatherly advice from Dan. And one more who we have not yet booked, but we are going to book, is a fella out of Wisconsin. And this guy is a former Marine, a former gym owner. He works in private equity. He has a tech company. He's got 6 kids. He is just this amazing, amazing human being. We're going to actually run a campaign to get specific questions for this guy. He is next level awesome. So watch for that one, because when that one releases, if you need paternal advice and guidance, these guys are going to just knock your socks off, because truly, truly, they are unbreakable people. They are the epitome of unbreakable. So stay tuned for all that.
An exciting guest.
Yeah. So we've got some really hot stuff coming up for the summer. We've got some people coming in from overseas. We're going to get my coach on there, get a couple more of our bodybuilding and business podcasts lined up. Yes. And that's where Denise falls into as well. And so it's just, guys, stay tuned, stay on the journey with us. And remember, protect your peace, chase your dreams, and stay unbreakable.
No camera rolling, no caption for the gram, no, just the real one doing work that the fake ones can't handle. Yeah, you see the difference, that's the difference, that's the difference. They want you filtered, polished, pretty for the beat, she shows up uncut.